Uvaženi predstavnici Vlade Republike Srbije, guverneru, Vaše ekscelencije, dame i gospode. Veliki mi je čast lično i profesionalno da sam u ovom okruženju. Danas želim da podelim naše mišljenje o budućnosti trgovine. Moj maternji jezik jeste srpski, ali obzirom da sam sa 5 godina odrasla u Americi, ne zamerite mi ako se nastavim na engleskom. I've been fascinated by change since I was a very young girl. It probably was developed when my parents immigrated to the United States, and I had to really quickly learn how to adapt. I'm very fortunate that in my profession, my job requires me to look and focus on spotting change. As a practitioner of innovation, I know that in today's complex world, spotting change is harder than it ever was before. Excuse me. Global commerce has been evolving for quite some time. And what we're starting to see in MasterCard is the emergence of a new economy. This new economy, or the next economy as we call it, is underpinned by new technological innovation that is also bringing about a new way to reimagine money and the way that we exchange value and creating completely new intelligent experiences. To make things even more difficult, though, during this complicated period, is that all of this change is happening at the same time that we're also dealing with great geopolitical realignment, economic volatility, as we heard yesterday, a lot of environmental challenges, and evolving societal expectations. As they spur innovation, though, technology will become a lot more intuitive, a lot more immersive, and part of our daily lives. Our history is littered with major periods of technological advancements. Perhaps, though, what makes signal spotting so difficult today is that the rate of innovation is happening so quickly, but so is the pace of adoption. It's happening so fast that by 2040, we're not going to experience 1 time, or 2 times, or 3 times, but we're going to experience 4 times the amount of change in a single year. Many of the innovations that will be created, we can't even imagine. And as such, 85% of the skills that will be required to compete, we don't even know what they are. What we do know is that broad digitization, artificial intelligence, and information processing technologies are going to really transform business. So today, what I'd like to talk to you about is 3 trends that we believe are going to shape the future of business: the rise of co-pilots, reimagining retail, and the currency of trust. So not long ago, in the fall of 2022, it was just data scientists and data engineers that had heard about generative AI. But today, it has gained massive appeal and awareness, and it's at the forefront of a huge economic revolution. How many people here are using a form of ChatGPT or an equivalent? Please raise your hands. Trying to see. Take a look around you. According to PwC, 55% of the CEOs of large global companies are either evaluating or experimenting with generative AI, and 37% of them are already using it. This technology has the potential to unlock trillions of dollars of value. But just like other general-purpose technologies like electricity, generative AI is not going to happen all at once. It's going to happen in 3 waves. The first wave is all about unlocking efficiency. The second wave is all about better quality. And the last wave is then systems transformation. So if I take an example of producing videos today, if we think about videos, today with generative AI, I can make a video that costs nearly nothing to produce. Tomorrow, I'm going to be able to make a video that's contextually relevant and better quality. And in the future, Governor, I'm going to make a movie that's personalized to your preferences instantly, in real time. It's really transformative. But today, mostly, generative AI is called that it's having a smartphone moment. When it first launched, it was compared to the smartphone because in 2007, when the smartphone was created, the mobile phone, together with its app ecosystem and its access to the internet, transformed industry. And so is generative AI. Classical AI has been around forever, but what makes this technology so transformative and special? The first thing is that it has this unbelievable capacity to synthesize information. So if you think about what a search engine did to information and access to information, Gen AI is basically an answers engine. It's like your buddy, your study partner, that through questioning and answering, it just keeps getting smarter, learning about the context, and having human-like understanding. The second superpower that it has is its human-like engagement. Never before did we have a computer that had such an accessible interface, so that me, who has no actual technical capability, but because it understands language, I can just tell it an objective, and it could code for me, and I can get the results instantly. That's incredible. And the third superpower that it has is its creativity. It's the first time that an actual software was able to generate content, whether it be text or video or images. That also is really magical. But I'm double-clicking to explain to you these superpowers because those aren't enough. Generative AI is not enough to solve all of our problems. You still need other types of models like deep learning and machine learning for predictive analytics. The thing that generative AI, though, does differently is that for the first time, we're now able to interconnect all those different models to create something super magical. In this first wave of AI, most companies are using generative AI internally for productivity's sake, as I said. Many early adopters are looking at customer service, how can they do better knowledge management and sharing and collaboration across their teams. At MasterCard, we initially started to look at how can we do better collaboration? How can we use it for coding? We actually created a product onboarding assistant so that our customers didn't have to read thousands of pages of documents when they became customers of ours. By automating and simplifying all that text, we will free up knowledge workers' times. And what else is it possible for? What I've started seeing other companies do from an external perspective is they're also using it for fast-tracking lending, for mortgages, and other types of lending activities, HR and training purposes. I'm going to share with you one of the things that we did externally that's still in beta in the United States for small businesses. We recognize that small businesses, one of the first reasons why they actually fail is because they don't have any guidance. They don't know how to manage or operate their business. So we created this small business mentor, which is for businesses who are trying to start out or businesses who are trying to grow themselves, the ability to have a mentor in their pocket, a buddy. It can help them with marketing. It can help them defend against cybersecurity. It can help them with operations of their cash flow. And it's something that we're going to be looking to take global with our banking partners. Now, we talked a lot about co-pilots and them being super useful in our professional lives. But in addition, we're going to start seeing personal assistants dominate our personal lives as well. There's nearly as many personal assistants out in the marketplace as there are human beings on the planet as of the end of last year. And while generative AI has been really the talk of the last few years, it's really the next generation called agentic AI that is going to dominate our personal interactions. While generative AI uses prompts to respond to questions that you may have, agentic AI actually is able to break down tasks and make decisions and execute those tasks on your behalf. Now, in the future, what we're going to see is brands, media, retailers, they're all going to be represented by these agents. And you too will be represented by an agent. What we're doing is we're shifting from the show it for me economy to the do it for me economy, where agents are going to be able to interact with you and your agents. So let's say a brand's agent is going to interact with your agent. It's not only going to interact with it, but it's going to emote. It's going to understand your emotions. It's also going to negotiate on your behalf. And it's going to execute those things instantly and autonomously. Now, that sounds really scary, but the reality is that we have already entered into a hybrid world of human and agent interaction. And so when I was telling my uncle Branco about all of this, who's nearly 80 years old and still prides himself in his ability to do long division in his head, he told me we're all just going to become really stupid. But actually, if we all really just remained in his world of doing long division in our heads, our world wouldn't have progressed so much. But imagine, let's just take a very early use case around travel. I love to travel. I'm sure many of you do too. I take pride in actually doing research for travel. So my computer usually looks like 60 tabs open as I'm planning my airline, my hotel stays, where am I going to go to eat because I love food, what are the things that I'm going to see, and it takes me hours to do all of that. Well, in the future, Maya, my twin, is going to be able to do all of that negotiation for me. Maybe it's going to check in a few times. It's going to know all my preferences, and maybe it's going to say, hey, what do you think? Do you like this? Let's go for it. But imagine all the time I'm going to be able to save. It's pretty incredible. The second thing I want to talk to you about is reimagining retail, or what we call is the retail renaissance. Now, we know over the last decade, retail has really been a huge adopter of emerging technologies, digital commerce, social commerce, and with COVID, fast-tracked contactless and biometrics. Alongside that, consumers too changed their behaviors. They now expect a lot more personalized communication, and they also want a lot more better experiences. And so what we're seeing is a retail renaissance, where retailers are investing heavily in emerging technologies to deliver much deeper communication and provide a lot more value to consumers, both in the physical as well as in the online experience. Now, for years, we've been talking about omnichannel. Oh, sorry, before I go into that, let me talk to you a little bit what else we're doing. Another amazing capability of AI is the ability to perceive. So generative AI, because it's able to integrate other data sets from the environment, from computer vision, from social media, unstructured data of all kinds of sorts, it's also able to then comprehend that and even understand human emotions. So one of the things that we've been looking at is how could generative AI be used to read human emotions and do customer service in a better way? Could we improve the products and services and eliminate pain points? So what we did is we trained an avatar, or we trained a data set on human emotions, and they created an avatar to play back to us, what do we think those emotions are? Take a look. She looks pretty real, right? So imagine one day, the future of customer service looks really human-like, and she's able to read if you're frustrated or angry or pissed off or really happy with the service. There's a lot more to it, but this is just one example of where the world is heading. As I was mentioning, we've been talking about omnichannel, the promise of omnichannel and being able to communicate with consumers before, during, and after a purchase. Well, now retailers are actually going to be able to deliver on that experience, which in the past was very fragmented. By investing in emerging technologies, computer vision, other types of spatial computing, understanding cues from audio, and biometrics, retailers are now in a position to really provide a lot better experience from the moment that you enter into a store. So let's say a customer is okay with using facial recognition. From the moment a person enters into a store, a retailer is able to provide them with personalized experiences. Advances in ultra-wide technologies now allows consumers to navigate through a store and be offered personalized products and services as they navigate through, along with digital displays that give them the best of what you can get at home. One of the biggest problems is that when you're at home and you're shopping online, you're really able to do product reviews, you're able to get the best price, you really have a chance to do proper product discovery. Well, that's lacking today in the physical environment, and that's now what retailers are trying to bring into the physical environment. Another problem in the physical environment is you don't want to spend time waiting to check out. So what are now retailers doing? They're actually enabling point-of-sale systems as you walk through the store, like Marks and Spencer, so that you're able to actually check out as you're buying things. In addition to that, when you're at home, you have all that ability to discover and get the best price, but you don't have typically the ability to feel things and to have a really tactile and immersive experience. So now with augmented reality and computer vision, retailers are investing in next generation experiences, bringing virtual showrooms and mirrors to your house. We, for example, at MasterCard Labs, created an ability for you to scan yourself with your own biometrics. So all of a sudden, you're not going to need to actually return many of the things that you don't need after all. Overall, what we're trying to do is really converge, bring the physical into the digital and bring the digital into the physical space. Now, I want to show you another demo that's really futuristic, but it lets you understand how a future sports fan is going to experience things in the real world where the physical is interacting with the digital. In this experience, the fan is using biometrics to get access. It's also using augmented reality to get better game statistics. It's also using personalization to get a lot better offers and surprise and delight. Now take a look. And this is all coming from the command center of its future wallet. He's choosing from nearby merchants. This is just one example. Many other things can happen for retailers as well. Now, the last trend I want to talk to you about is the currency of trust. Because as you can imagine, with generative AI and its voracious appetite for data, and 1 in 4 actually workers using a ChatGPT-like device and app at work, data management and data security becomes a strategic imperative to think about. One of the biggest, most perennial risks with ChatGPT or generative AI is the rise of deepfakes. There's been a 46% rise in deepfake identity fraud. As these new tools offer efficiency, we need to be really mindful in how we effectively manage data and security in this new world. Now, imagine that you are a knowledge worker in a bank in Hong Kong, and you get an email from your CFO saying, send $25 million to these accounts. It kind of looks suspicious to you. So you get on a conference call with your CFO and 4 other colleagues. And it seemed like, okay, so you go ahead and execute those transactions. And then you find out that you've been deepfake spoofed. That's what happened to a knowledge worker in Hong Kong. He sent $25 million after a conference call with 5 colleagues. It was so real. Generative AI, because of its access to public data, is able to create the most incredible identities that look so real. It's one of the biggest threats that are now facing corporate executives who are speaking publicly. It actually happened to one of my colleagues who was speaking about deepfakes as well. It's also one of the reasons that we as a company invested in January and acquired one of the largest threat intelligence companies called Recorded Future, because we know that cybersecurity, whether it's cybersecurity online to manage our infrastructure, is one of the most important things in this new world that we're going to have to keep safe. Now, cybercrime is growing at an unprecedented pace. Last year, the value of cybercrime was $12 trillion. If you thought about it in terms of GDP, it would have been the 3rd largest economy in the world after the United States and China. And in the future, while today we focus a lot about looking at and preventing cybercrime through historical data and through real-time data, in the future, with new proactive AI models, we're going to be able to deflect cybercrime before it even actually occurs. Now, MasterCard is not new to leveraging AI to defend our network. We have a number of different capabilities like SafetyNet, which just over the last 2 years have saved the industry over $50 billion. We also have upgraded some of our capabilities like Decision Intelligence Pro, which really looks at how all different types of data sources to provide banks with a score so they can make a choice about whether or not a transaction can occur. We analyze over 1 trillion data sets and 143 billion transactions a year. What we do is we actually take a look at device gestures, where the transaction's coming from, the merchant, to really make a precise decision so that we can safeguard the future. Now, it's not just in our cards networks that we're looking at these things, but we realize that actually in the banking field, anti-money laundering is a massive concern. In 2023, $6.6 billion was actually lost due to anti-money laundering. And because we manage 13 real-time payments infrastructures around the world, we know that fast payments means fast fraud. We have a solution called Financial Crimes, which really is a network-wide solution that enables us at a network level to really help people understand how are these money mules breaking down transactions and how can we stop and prevent them. And in our lab, we're working on a next-generation decentralized AI solution that's going to be a collaboration with our partners, our banking partners. It basically allows banking partners, through privacy-enhancing technologies, to send alerts into the network so they can collaborate with our other industry partners and reduce fraud. Now, I know that I've talked a lot about opportunities as well as risks. I would say the biggest risk in thinking that a technology can solve everything is just that thought. 20 years ago, we had the ability to actually send cross-border payments from a technology perspective in real time, but we're still not doing it. Why aren't we doing it? Because rules have to be harmonized, standards had to be created, operating models had to be created. Same is the case here with AI. There's a lot of challenges still to be solved. First and foremost, data quality. Is that the right data quality? Is it biased? Secondly, how do these agent systems actually work and what are the rules around them? There's a lot of things. How do we treat deepfakes and prevent them? So while there's a lot of promise here, there's also a lot of challenges still to rule out. But we believe in a future that's smarter, that's safer, and that's personal. It's really an incredible time in our history to be architects and be able to reshape the world around us, because every single industry and every single sector is going to be touched by this technology. For Serbia, in its ambitions for 2027, with an incredible information technology sector, it also offers a huge opportunity for you to catapult your economy. And just like everyone else, as Mr. Vlahovic said, we have to focus on upskilling our people and making sure that the education for all of us and all of our industries is teaching about native AI capabilities and that we're changing our operating models together. And my last I would say, prediction for you is that in the future, in our AI-enhanced life that's all about talking to you in a segment of one, is that we're all going to have a much deeper appreciation for the slow life and for what it really means to be human and for all those things that matter the most in life. Thank you.
Najlepše hvala gospođi Lapčević. A sada počinjemo sa radom prve plenarne sesije. Od osnivanja foruma 1994. godine naš gotovo redovni učesnik je bila gospođa Jorgovanka Tabaković. Kao panelista i učesnik u plenarnim sesijama, gospođa Tabaković je uvek ostavljala snažan utisak. Već duže od 10 godina je na čelu Narodne banke Srbije. Godina za nama je bila veoma izazovna za Narodnu banku Srbije. Visoka inflacija je uzrokovala rigidniju monetarnu politiku u cilju obezbeđivanja makroekonomske stabilnosti i zauzdavanja cenovnog rasta. Inflacija je danas u definisanom koridoru. Uprkos izmenjenim uslovima, kreditna aktivnost banaka ne stagnira, a nivo nenaplativih kredita je na istorijskom minimumu. O planovima za ovu i naredne godine govorit će nam gospođa Jorgovanka Tabaković, guverner Narodne banke Srbije. Gospođo Tabaković, izvolite.
Dobar dan svima. Pre svega da vam kažem da me moj